look at it. It's just awesome. Put a transmission in it, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So that leads to the current dilemma. Hey everybody, what's up? Wanted to do a little rig walk around video this week. I get a lot of questions, a lot of interest in my 97 OBS F-250. I bought this truck just over 10 years ago. It was a farm truck out of Salinas, California. Had 239,000 miles on it when I bought it. It was bone stock, original everything except for, you know, maybe like a water pump and a couple little things like that. Otherwise the truck was in the condition you see it as far as the sheet metal and paint. Took all the interior out of it when I got it, cleaned it, pressure washed the carpet, scrubbed the seats, just kind of cleaned parts over the years. Put a new headliner in it, and as a result of that I never actually put the B pillar trim and A pillar trim back on. Put a new windshield in while the headliner was out because the old one was leaking. It was getting water on the carpet, but mostly just tried to keep it clean. Put Dynamat in under the headliner. It's got a bunch of Dynamat on the floor, but I mean, you can see this is the original carpet. I've just cleaned it a few times. Tried to just keep it clean and usable for the family. Did the A-pillar gauges. Got a DP tuner to control all of the custom tunes that are on it. I'll show you guys what we've done under the hood. As far as engine mods, you can see we got a T4 turbo mount, intercooler out of a 99 Super Duty that I found at a junkyard. It's got an e-fuel setup from Mark Fuzigato. That's the distribution block down there. It's got 160/30 injectors from Full Force. The turbo is a Garrett SXE 366. I dynoed the truck probably about a year and a half ago. It made 380 horsepower and 799 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. In the daily tune. I don't have any like hot or extremes or anything. So those are pretty good numbers. Jody at DP said it would, he calls this combo of injector and turbo and tuning, calls it his 400/800 combo. Down here's the rest of the e-fuel setup. So I got a Bosch 044 pump out of like a Super Duty, and then I got the fuel filter heads, primary and secondary. I mounted them horizontal because I like to off-road, and I don't like it when a lot of guys run the filters vertical like that. Try to keep the belly of this thing pretty clean. It's got a diamond eye 4-inch from the turbo back, no cat. This is the last year of pre-smog in California, so I can do that. The truck has all original paint except for the roof. So I had some rust in the windshield channel. It's still trying to creep back in up here, still fighting that spot, but had it repainted, the roof from the A-pillars up. You can see the roof's in good shape now. So I didn't put the trim back in the windshield just because I wanted to see if the rust was gonna come back or not. So I've got all the trim. I wanted to black it out and put it back. But everything else is the original white paint from 1997. You can see it's in really good shape, all things considered. This bumper I got off of Craigslist a while back. It's super thick. It's like 3/8 steel. I'd like to make one, but you know, this one works for now. Otherwise, you can see the truck's pretty straight. The white hides a lot. You know, there's a lot of weird little dings and dents and stuff down along the side of it, but I like it. I like it that way. When I did the intercooler, I had the whole front end apart, so I went ahead and picked up some XL model non-chrome headlight surrounds and grille, and I had those painted had those painted white so they'd match. Picked up a international grill emblem from a rig at work. They got a new grill just to kind of honor the 7.3 that's in it. I made this bumper at a 1/4 inch plate, but I bought a 4x8 sheet, a 1/4 inch plate, and then built this bumper. I just didn't like the profile of any of the aftermarket bumpers, so I just figured I'd make my own. Came out really good. For first bumper I've ever made, I like it. It's got good crisp lines. Took a lot of welding to get that right. Mounts the winch super tight. Didn't lose any approach angle, so really stoked on that. I really wanted a flat top because I end up standing up here a lot, and a lot of them had an angled top of the bumper, and I really didn't like that. So on to suspension. So the first thing that happened when I decided to modify the suspension on the truck was I wanted to put a Dana 60 in instead of the TTB 50 that was in it. A lot of people were just doing reverse shackle kits, but I just didn't really like the way they looked. I really wanted to kind of make sure I got the most out of the ride quality I could. So I decided to build my own radius arms. I started with Rough Stuff Specialties Universal Radius Arm Kit. I got the inward extra high clearance lower tubing for it, so you can turn the wheels lock to lock and not hit that radius arm. And so this is the Rough Stuff Specialties Universal Radius Arm Kit with their Rough Stuff Specialties track bar kit through here with the outside frame mount bracket, the Rough Stuff 1-ton steering with GM tie rods, Rough Stuff diff cover, Rough Stuff coilover mounts. We got the Rough Stuff fabricated shock towers up here holding the 2.5 by 12 coilovers on the frame. I can't tell you how good Rough Stuff is about, you know, creating products that help guys like me that just, you know, I've got a welder and a grinder, but you know, for me to draw out these elaborate brackets and tabs, I don't have a press brake, I don't have a plasma table, so it's really helpful to grab some parts out of a catalog, some brackets, and then be able to just, you know, mildly adapt them to what you're doing. It really makes what seems like an insurmountable project, like taking a leaf spring truck and converting it to a radius arm on coilover. It makes it a lot less daunting. So I've got over 60,000 miles on this radius arm kit of daily driving, towing, off-roading, wheeling in the rocks, and I've yet to have, you know, a single failure. So I really can't speak highly enough of all the products I've gotten from Rough Stuff over the years. I had no idea when I built the front suspension how much it was going to improve the capability of the truck. And I mean, this thing, you know, if you were driving it down a bumpy road, you couldn't go more than 5 miles an hour. And now, you know, this really just changed the game, and you can go pretty fast. So it took me a couple of years, but I finally got around to upgrading the rear end of the truck, and I decided to go with the newer Super Duty leaf spring dimensions, which are 8 inches longer. So you have to move the front spring hanger. So you can see where the old spring hanger was right in these 6 holes. So it moves forward 8 inches, runs a longer spring. These are from Atlas. They're a plus 5 inch lift. And then in the rear went from a tension shackle to a compression shackle. ADS 5-tube 2.5 inch bypasses and a supplemental air shock for load leveling, so that I can have a really softly sprung truck when the truck's empty, like it is probably most of the time for most truck owners. But I can increase load carrying capacity when it's loaded out for full chase duties or when it's towing. So I've got a tiny little shock tower that I built that comes through the bed, and I've got quick access to the Schrader valves on the ADS air shocks, so I can throw some nitrogen in those and keep the back elevated and keep it from squatting out too bad on me. So we got parts from Rough Stuff all over this truck. Got these polyurethane bumps from Rough Stuff. I got all this DOM tubing from Rough Stuff. Those shock mounts, all 4 of those. This was another Craigslist score. So it's this toolbox setup. Fits a short bed. Whole thing's held in with 6 bolts. I welded some threaded plates under the bed rail so I can actually buzz 6 bolts out and lift this whole thing out with my tractor if I ever want to just have an open truck bed again. It's pretty cool. I haven't wired these lights up yet, but it's got compartment lights, so it's a great storage system for when we go trail wheeling or when the truck's in chase rig mode. Another big upgrade I made to the truck was once it had all that horsepower, it would axle wrap really bad on like freeway on-ramps and towing the trailer, and you'd get a really bad driveline vibration. And I knew once I upgraded the rear suspension, put the soft springs in and everything, I was probably gonna have more axle wrap. So I picked up a Rough Stuff Specialties anti-wrap bar kit, and I used it in kind of a creative way. I used the axle bracket, and I used the bottom tube, and then I made my own chassis bracket, and I was able to lay out the geometry in a way that with one bar I've got an anti-wrap and I have no bind through the 14 inches of travel on this setup. So if anybody wants to know how I was able to achieve that or accomplish it, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below and I'll help you lay that out and draw it out. It's pretty simple, but came out pretty effective. You probably saw, if you follow my content, that I broke a ring gear at Hammers this year. So it's got a 410 open in the rear right now, and then it's got a 410 Spartan in the front. I picked up a Yukon Grizzly for the rear, and then I'm just trying to decide if I'm gonna go 456s or 488s. I'd like to put this thing on 40-inch tires. Right now we got the 37-inch 1250 Nexen Rodian MTX on some Raceline 17s. Simulated bead lock. I had real bead locks on it for a while, but I knew towing and everything, it wasn't a good idea, so I went ahead and just got a non-bead lock Raceline. I really like the way it is right now with the radius arm. I'm going to change the front shocks to some ADS coilovers. The valving in these Foxes just isn't quite right, and then I'm going to do some shock tuning and try and get the thing you know, as smooth as we can get it in the desert. It boogies pretty good for an 8,000 pound, you know, diesel that tows. It crawls really good because it's so heavy. It never struggles for traction. The Nexen tires hold up really good. You air them down and they just wrap themselves around the rocks. So that leads to the current dilemma. Truck's got a cracked block. I'm not entirely sure what happened or what caused it, but I've been hearing an extra noise for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden the block cracked externally, and now we got oil leaking out. So truck's been staying home. I picked up a donor engine. I've got it in the garage. I just don't have the time or all the space yet to get the truck in and apart. So it's gonna be a few months for sure. So this long block is bone stock. Like, we just put injectors in it and that's it. So the new one will get head studs, it'll get stronger push rods, it'll get stiffer valve springs to hopefully keep up with this combo. Let me know what you like about the truck, what you think I should change. Put it in the comments, and if you like the content, as always, please subscribe. I don't want to just show everybody all the cool parts of the truck. I want to show you guys some of the sob stories over the years. So this dent right here, we were actually getting our concrete driveway poured, and I wasn't able to use the driveway, and I was trying to like maneuver around all the oak trees on the property, and I actually backed into a tree in the dark and smoked the taillight and crushed this bedside. So that's kind of a reminder. I picked up this little guy on the Doozy Ursham Trail, just getting through the Gatekeeper up to Chicken Rock. I think I've got a dent on the other side. This one I think I put in the day I got it. I hit the bumper on a big rock at a rural parking spot, and it pushed the bumper up into the truck, so that was kind of fun. There's a little wave right here in the door. I backed into a tire on a log splitter. The bedside's a little wrinkled right here from the 37s getting up into the bedside. you know, so it's kind of fun. Every dent tells a story, right? Those are some of the parts and the character that make this thing what it is. But I've had this truck 10 years. I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. I absolutely love it. It's a bummer I got to put an engine in it, but you know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So we've been pushing the horsepower envelope and beating on a stock long block for a couple of years now. So I think that's just you know, how it goes. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the truck, what you think I should do to it next. This is where when the ring gear broke, it shoved one of the ring gear teeth through the diff cover out at Hammers. Pulled the cover, had several broken ring gear teeth, and ended up driving it noisy, out of oil, to a junkyard about an hour away, and got a whole nother Sterling 10 1/4. Pulled just the 410 ring gear and open carrier out of it and shoved it in mine on my pinion gear that's all chewed up, and welded the cover up, put the cover on, filled it with oil, and drove it home towing the race trailer. So kind of unbelievable. But yeah, the rear axle will be getting a re-gear along with the front. You know, it's a lot of work keeping an old truck like this, keeping it alive, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's got a lot of character. You know, anybody with a good job can go buy a new 6.7 Power Stroke, but you know, to keep an old OBS Ford alive and running takes a lot of work, but it gives you a lot of pride in your truck. So I like it. It's been a fun truck. It's been a fun journey. First 10 years are good. We'll see what the next 10 has in store. I'd love to cage the truck someday, but I don't want to destroy its drivability. So who knows? I'm sure, like most, you know, as it continues to get beat up and continues to get older and you know, a little more used, it'll probably become more and more of a toy. But for now, this is it. This is my truck. Hope you guys like it.